All right, welcome to Hiilite. My name is William, and this is our Ambassador of Analytics, Peter.
Hello.
Today we're taking a question from Emma, and she asks, what's the difference between Squarespace and WordPress? So we're going to break down a number of reasons why Squarespace and WordPress, how they differ, but we want to differentiate first that there is a WordPress.com and a WordPress.org.
So to be clear, we are going to be talking about the self-hosted open source WordPress.org and not WordPress.com.
Right, so we're going to talk about the open source one you can download. The .com one, you can go to WordPress.com and sign up, is actually fairly similar to Squarespace. So, number one, ease of use. There's a lot to be said for Squarespace. There's actually a lot of advantages if you're just getting into it, if you need a clean and very simple website. Squarespace actually does have a lot of advantages.
In terms of actually editing content, Squarespace is also very good at doing that. Now, however, WordPress websites will give you a lot more control of your content. So especially when it comes to the formatting, so creating your headings, your fonts, changing fonts, all kinds of little design features are far more available, but just note that it does have a little bit more of a learning curve.
Or it can. So if you're getting someone else to set it up for you, it can be fairly simple. The second thing that we want to talk about is cost. So the open source version, so open source software can actually be free. So if you have your own server, if you want to really scale your websites or your organization, WordPress is a great platform. But Squarespace sacrifices some of that scalability because it's a vendor locked, it's a vendor available content management system. It's locked to a specific vendor.
So basically with Squarespace, you're paying monthly to get a simple website where you can make about 20 pages, and if you need to make more pages, you do have to upgrade your plan. With self-hosted WordPress, you can just host on pretty much any hosting company you want, as cheap as you want, but at any time you can move up your hosting to a higher plan for more speed, more space, but you're never limited in the amount of pages or functionality that you can add to it.
Exactly. If it's 2 pages or 2,000 pages, WordPress will actually work and scale with you. So just what companies will do WordPress hosting? Just give me 2 examples.
Pretty much anyone, but places like SiteGrounds is a great place to host a really cheap WordPress website, all the way up to places like InMotion for getting into far larger WordPress hostings.
Third, design. So there are definitely trade-offs, and WordPress can be anything you want it to be, but there is a little bit of coding, or there can be coding in it, but you can make it sing and dance and do whatever you want. Whereas Squarespace, you're limited more or less to the functionality that's provided by Squarespace themselves.
Now that's not necessarily always a bad thing. So Squarespace's designs are very good. They're all responsive, they all use very modern design practices, so you are getting a limited amount of designs, but if one of them just happens to work for you, that's all you need, and that's perfect. WordPress, on the other hand, they have over 2,700 free templates for you to choose from, and there's dozens more that are developed by other companies. A lot of people just build their own from scratch just so they can have the exact design that they want. So it's far more flexible and scalable in terms of design on WordPress as well. Squarespace is just straight to the point, pick a finished, completed design.
Exactly. And there are also some great resources for themes for WordPress. We can share those in the comments. If anyone has any questions, just ask down below. 4 is features. So another one of those scalability and flexibility options, WordPress is unlimited. You can hire a developer or work with a developer. There are hundreds of thousands of developers who actually know everything there is to know about WordPress and can make it sing and dance and do whatever they want. Squarespace, whatever is offered through Squarespace is pretty much it. So the feature set is outlined there. So if there's something that comes out in the future, unless Squarespace supports it, you may not actually be able to build that in.
So this comes down to specific galleries or portfolios that a photographer might want to show their images in a certain way. You're limited on Squarespace, which their limited options are very well done and they look very good, but sometimes you just need that little bit more control or that slight difference in look and appeal. That's where you can find a plugin that does what you need on WordPress. Now, in terms of every other kind of functionality, so there is literally over 33,000 plugins for WordPress, and that's just the ones on their marketplace. And they range from every little detail of setting up your own mail out, setting up portfolios on your website, to even e-commerce, which actually e-commerce is another big topic.
Number 5, e-commerce. So huge difference there. Squarespace does support very limited amounts of e-commerce.
So their e-commerce is built up by them, and they only really support Stripe integration for a payment processor, and you can only add about 20 products on your initial plan before you have to upgrade to higher plans on Squarespace. WordPress, on the other hand, is for the more serious e-commerce users, where they want to create a much larger store with far more products, far more extensibility, far more payment options, and there is dozens of choices when it comes to e-commerce. The most popular one is WooCommerce, and with that you can use nearly any kind of payment platform. It's once again just finding the plugin that integrates into it.
Absolutely, and most vendors of any service will offer up whatever API or application
application processing interface.
There we go. To tie in. So if there isn't one, you can actually get a developer to build one for you. All right, number 6, and this is, I think, a really important one. That's vendor lock-in or data portability. So imagine you build a Squarespace site and you no longer want to use Squarespace. That's it. You're actually locked to it. You'll actually have to rebuild it. If, on the other hand, you've built something on one WordPress template, it's actually fairly easy to move into another one. So if GoDaddy no longer does what you like or isn't fast enough, you can download the entire backup and move it over into another host.
So yeah, it makes it very easy to move your sites around, to bring it to other hosts, other developers even, so that they can help you on your site. And even completely changing the look of your site, switching to a new theme, switching out plugins, and just backups in general are much easier on WordPress, whereas Squarespace, yes, once again, you are locked to Squarespace specifically.
Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. We just want to make sure that you understand that there's just a lot more flexibility with the open source option. And finally, number 7 is going to be support. There are just 2 different mechanisms Squarespace has. Their Squarespace ecosystem, their Squarespace support. Let's try that again. There's laugh you should. There's Squarespace support, whereas WordPress, there are hundreds of thousands of developers out there who know WordPress or know how to get into WordPress and do what you need. Or even your hosting company may be able to help you with that. Or companies or developers like Peter, or companies like ours.
So yeah, just think about it as, with Squarespace, you will be calling Squarespace for support, and they will help you out because you are one of their valued customers. With WordPress, you are reaching out to other developers, which can get a bit costly, but they can definitely get done what you need for your WordPress website.
Just a quick summary. So when picking between Squarespace and WordPress.org, or the open source version, both are really good options, but they serve a different function. If you want scalability and flexibility and ability to grow into a 20,000 page website and multiple e-commerce and products and affiliate links, WordPress.org, or the open source version, is really good. If you need a simple website to present your product or your service or your local business, Squarespace sometimes is actually the better option. So ease of use, cost, quite a bit different. Design, the number of features, the e-commerce support, vendor lock-in or data portability, and then support.
So I hope that answers all of your questions. If you have any more, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like this video.
If Squarespace, you guys are listening, if we can meet Keanu Reeves, we can completely make another video about how awesome Squarespace is. Leave a comment below. Look forward to hearing more questions. Emma, thank you so much for your question about WordPress versus Squarespace. See you soon.